Hi, welcome back. Or if you're just joining, my name is Maya and welcome to my channel, Cranleyplace, where I'm posting content on scarf style, knot tutorials, and more. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to be notified of new videos which I'm publishing weekly. In this video, I wanted to share a few notes from my most recent European business trip, specifically about some of the things I packed and talk a little bit about my airline experiences. Then I will also share what Hermès goodies I picked up along the way. Let's get started. So if you saw my last packing video, that was for a 6-day business trip to Europe. Overall, everything went well. It was a very productive trip, a little bit exhausting, and certainly always nice to come back home. But first, I wanted to talk about the packing cubes I used. These were compression cubes that I'd wanted to try out. They work pretty much the same way as a regular packing cube, except they have a second built-in zipper to, guess what, compress the pack size even more. Pretty cool, right? Now, granted, I did not take precise measurements or anything, but there was a notable difference between when it was compressed versus fully expanded. Very densely packed, which made a slight difference space-wise. The only drawback that I can see is that it might entice you to pack even more, which obviously won't do you any favors weight-wise. Bottom line, would I use them again? Absolutely, and in fact, I think these may become my go-to packing cubes for future trips, simply because I like how efficient they are. If you're interested, I've included a link in the description below. Second, on this trip, I took a slightly larger purse. I have done this before on leisure trips, but for business, I usually take a smaller pochette. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Alma BB. It's what I call a Goldilocks sized bag. Not too big or small, plus it can be carried either as a top handle or a crossbody, and I really like that flexibility. But I have to say that for me, on this business trip, it was actually a little too large, and a good reminder of why I started taking pochettes on business trips in the first place. It fit just fine within my garden party with my other items like an iPad, headphones, water bottle, etc. for on the plane. But it was during the week when I needed to carry my laptop, power cord, and adapter. It was too tight, almost to the point where I could barely sling the garden party over my shoulder. So most of the time it ended up either in the crook of my arm or by the handles. So lesson learned, I will not do that again on my next business trip. And then finally, a comment about wardrobe. For that trip, I essentially had 3 pairs of pants to go with enough shirts and scarves to change daily. But I ended up wearing mainly 2 pairs, the jeans and the twill pants, versus taking the ponte pants into the mix. And I have to say that I did feel pressured by the ultra casual dress of my colleagues that I met throughout the week. Ultimately, everything looked fine, of course, since the pieces in my wardrobe are quite interchangeable and can be dressed up either up or down. But I sort of felt like that was wasted space, and I could have skipped that pair altogether to allow more breathing room in the suitcase. So, something to consider next time. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about my air travel experiences. With my company footing the travel bill, they normally pay for economy class, but I was able to get upgraded to premium economy, which is nice. I'm not a tall person, but still I appreciate the extra room, especially on these exceptionally long flights. Outbound, I flew on Lufthansa, and I do have to say that I've had consistently positive experiences on this airline for years. My only complaint is that for economy fares, and honestly I don't know when they started this, but they charge a fee for advanced seat reservations. It's free if you're willing to wait within 24 hours of departure, but with an overseas flight like this, I prefer not to leave things to chance and risk ending up in the dreaded middle seat somewhere. On long flights, I do like to take an aisle seat so I can get up as I please. And if you're into airplanes, this one was an Airbus A340-600, which has a 232 seat configuration in premium economy. I reserved an aisle seat with only one other beside me, and I did get lucky in that A, it wasn't a full flight, and B, that seat next to me ended up empty. Woohoo! I liked that there was a pillow and blanket as well as bottled water awaiting me at the seat. The flight attendant taking care of the section was also incredibly friendly and brought me sparkling wine in a proper glass as an aperitif, which was a nice treat. No complaints about the food, it was decent enough, and honestly, I wasn't that hungry anyways. But overall, I was mostly able to rest and felt relatively good and alert when I arrived at my destination in the early afternoon the next day. For my return to the States, I unfortunately did not get a nonstop, and I also ended up on United instead of Lufthansa, which was a mixed experience for me in this case. Both return flights were pretty packed, making the seat selections rather slim pickings. But on the plus side, at least they don't charge for either seat selection or changes. The airplane on the first leg was a Boeing 777 and had a 242 seat configuration in premium economy. And although I ended up in one of the banks of 4, it was the bulkhead, so I could still get up and out pretty easily without tripping over my neighbor. They also had these very cushy Saks Fifth Avenue blankets and pillows, which were super comfortable. Also, unlike the Lufthansa outbound flight, there was a small amenity kit with earplugs, eye mask, toothbrush, toothpaste, etc. It wasn't the greatest quality DOP kit, but still a pleasant surprise that it was even there. The food itself was fine, but unremarkable. And I do have to say that the flight attendants on this one were particularly crabby. Maybe it was a long day, who knows, I get it, but wow. It was just certainly a contrast to what I'd experienced on Lufthansa. Even though it was a shorter flight than my outbound, it felt dreadfully long. And actually, there was a medical emergency on board. You know that proverbial call for any medical personnel while in flight? Well, that happened en route, and when we landed, they did ask everyone to stay in their seats so that the EMTs on the jetway could come aboard and escort the passenger off the aircraft. He looked fine, but, who knows what happened there. Anyways, follow that by a joyful wait to clear customs, and voila, I was finally back in the States. I will admit that I did use miles to upgrade to United Polaris class for the second leg, and while I did appreciate all the extra space for sure, overall, I was pretty disappointed with the experience. No pillow, no blanket, or DOP kit. The food was terribly salty, and when the flight attendant finally did bring me a blanket, it was a laughable, paper-thin pretense of a blanket, nothing even close to what I'd enjoyed in their premium economy seat on the first leg. How is that even possible? But ultimately, it was good to stretch out and have a restful nap on the way home. My verdict, in short: next time, I will try to stay on Lufthansa for both ways and not waste points to upgrade on United. Which brings us to the good part. What Hermès goodies did I pick up on my trip? For the outbound leg, I arrived in plenty of time to shop the duty-free, and fortunately, they did have several scarves from the fall-winter 2022 season, which was lovely. So many to choose from. So this first one is a 100-centimeter cashmere from the men's collection called Les Ailes de Pégase, or The Wings of Pegasus, by a Corsican artist named Camille Pozzo di Borgo. She reportedly has been drawing since she was a child, and having spent some of her formative years in Milan, she counts gilding and Italian Renaissance as key inspirations from her time there, which is obvious in this design itself. First off, I've never tried any scarves in this size, and this was the exact colorway that I'd been swooning over, with these rich hues on a neutral khaki background. The burgundy, navy, ochre, this earthy golden yellow. Add on these delicious contrast hems, and indeed, I was in love. This next one was a bit of a surprise, And although I've talked about it in my coverage of the fall-winter 2022 season, really, it was neither on my wish list or radar to even consider. But the colorway caught my eye right away, and I kept coming back to it as I was trying things on. This is a design called Springs, originally by longtime Hermès artist Philippe Ledoux, issued in 1974, and reimagined here by his great-nephew Dimitri Rybaltchenko. What he's done here is called a mise en abîme, which in Western art is a formal technique of placing a copy of an image within itself, often in a way that suggests an infinitely recurring sequence. In the reimagined design, we're left to reassemble the pieces of this now kaleidoscopic puzzle of Napoleon II's phaeton carriage, which is conserved at the Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna. This colorway just felt so elegant when I tried it on, and although it does have this striking blue hem, which officially goes against my no more blue rule, the official colorway is gray, orange, and bright yellow, which is certainly acceptable in my mind. I have one other scarf with a gray base, so it felt right to take this one as well. So that was it for the outbound. What about the way home? Surprisingly, the duty-free Hermès store on my trip back to the States had very little inventory. Double-face scarves? Nope. Cashmere triangles? Nada. 70-centimeter scarves? No dice. I showed them, in fact, several pictures of scarves on my wish list, and it was a refrain of, no, sorry, we don't have that. Not that the cases were bare, but basically it was virtually all older inventory. And in fact, I even saw a scarf there from the 2018 season, which surprised me. It was Baobab Cat by Ardmar artists. So I guess the takeaway is that you never know what past season's goodies they might have hidden at your local store, or in this case, the duty-free. I didn't come away with anything this time, so you can imagine how happy I was to have found at least a couple of things on the outbound trip. The only drag to that, of course, was I had to pack them along for the whole trip. So there you have it. Travel notes from my last European business trip, thoughts on the airline experience, and the Hermès scarves that I picked up along the way. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comments. In future episodes, I'll share other scarf reviews, not tutorials, and more, so be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time.